Welcome to Spectrum News. I am Emedion James, coming to you live from Uyo. Let's take a look at the major headlines we have for you today. President Tinubu congratulates Chukwuma Soludo on re-election as governor of Anambra State. Federal government approves 3 transformative policies aimed at boosting productivity and enhancing service delivery across civil service. Plus, U.S. Senate passes deal aimed at ending government shutdown. We'll bring you details of the stories and more in just a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned. First in the news this morning is that President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Chukwuma Soludo on his re-election as governor of Anambra State. Soludo was returned for a second term in office after recording a landslide victory, winning all 21 local government areas in the election, according to the result declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC yesterday. The massive victory makes the professor the 3rd governor in Anambra's political history to win a second term. In a statement personally signed by him, President Tinubu described Soludo's re-election as a testament to his visionary leadership and significant progress recorded under his administration. He urged Governor Soludo to be magnanimous in victory and to seek the cooperation of his opponent in the just concluded election. President Tinubu also commended the new INEC chairman, George Amiputong, and his team for conducting what he described as a credible election based on reports received so far. He charged the Commission to maintain high standards and continue to improve its performance so they strengthen and deepen their electoral system. Away from that, Vice President Kashim Shettima has returned to Abuja after leading Nigeria's delegation to the 30th United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP30, in Belém, Brazil. At the global event, the country reaffirmed its frontline position in global climate action and its commitment to a green transition. The return of the Vice President was announced yesterday in Abuja in a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications in the office of the Vice President, Stanley Nkwocha. Shettima, who joined world leaders, development partners and top industry executives at the Leaders Climate Summit hosted by Brazilian President Luiz da Silva, urged the international community to recognize the economic value of nature and adopt predictable, equitable and accessible funding mechanism to protect and restore ecosystems. In a separate development, the federal government has approved 3 transformative policies aimed at boosting productivity and enhancing service delivery across the civil service. These are the rewards and recognition policy, the incentive and consequent management policy, and the civil service mentoring policy. The approval was granted during the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu. The move marks a new era of performance-driven governance, strategic talent development, and enhanced accountability, with the policies designed to work in synergy to motivate staff, foster a culture of excellence, and significantly improve service delivery to Nigerians. According to a statement signed by Eno Oloto, Director of Information and Public Relations, the Head of Civil Service of the Federation, Didi Esther Wilson-Jock, affirmed that the policies are central to state welfare and enhance the value proposition of civil servants and also aligned with the 2021 Public Service Rules. She commended the President for his commitment to transforming the civil service and fostering a workplace culture that is effective, productive, incorruptible, and citizen-friendly. The head of service noted that the approval demonstrates the government's firm resolve to value public servants, reward excellence, and systematically groom the next generation of leaders. In another development, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT), Nyesom Wike, has approved an additional 14-day grace period for property owners who violate land use conditions in parts of Abuja to pay a penalty fee of 5 million naira and other related charges. According to a statement issued by Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications and Social Media, Larry Olayinka, the new grace period begins on Tuesday, November 11, 2025, and applies to property owners in Ashokoro, Maitama, Kaki, and Wuse district. Olayinka said the decision followed the expiration of the initial 30-day deadline for affected allottees and title holders to regularize their land use. The minister warned that failure to comply within the stated 14 calendar days period will result in enforcement actions by the FCT administration. Insecurity. The new Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Idi Abbas, has pledged to tighten maritime security, enhance operational capacity, and uphold the service core values of integrity, professionalism, and teamwork. Speaking in Abuja, Vice Admiral Abbas lauded President Bola Tinubu for the confidence reposed in him, promising to discharge his duties with dedication, fairness, and loyalty. Vice Admiral Abbas noted the threat in Nigeria's maritime environment, including crude oil theft, sea robbery, illegal bunkering, unregulated fishing, and drug trafficking, saying these crimes undermine national security and the economy. He outlined a strategic plan anchored on fleet renewal, improved technology, intensive training, and better welfare for personnel. He also stressed the need for closer collaboration with sister services, other security agencies, and international partners to tackle maritime and coastal threats. Elsewhere, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Kpetokun, has called for a deeper collaboration among security agencies, their academia, and communities to tackle Nigeria's multifaceted insecurity. Speaking at the third edition of a security summit organized by Lagos State University of Education with the theme Strengthening the Partnership Between Town and Gao in the Age of Insecurity, Ekpetokun said, national security cannot rely on force alone, but must be anchored on education, morality, and civic responsibility. The police boss described the security threat confronting the country as complex and technology-driven, listing them as cyber attacks, misinformation, kidnapping, and terrorism. He assured that the police force was transforming into an intelligence-led, technology-driven, and community-focused service through the use of data analytics, drones, forensic tools, and cyber unit. Away from that, the president of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, Professor Chris Biwuna, has said that the federal government does not prioritize education because its officials do not consider the sector's problems as national concerns requiring collective responsibility. Biwuna, who spoke during an interview, said the indifference of key government officials towards the education sector has made it difficult to achieve sustainable reforms. According to him, members of this Federal Executive Council often view education challenges as the sole responsibility of the Minister of Education. On labor matters, the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, NASU, has called on the government officials to stop using the no work, no pay policy as a tool of intimidation against workers. The General Secretary of NASU, Peters Adeyemi, made the call in a statement in Abuja. Adeyemi said the repeated threats by government representatives to invoke the policy were unjust and contrary to the principles of fair labor relations. He explained that strikes were never impulsive actions, but the last resort taken after all lawful and conciliatory avenues have been exhausted. According to him, government officials often neglect agreement and delayed workers' salary, yet threaten sanctions when workers react. Let's move now to Africa, where Cameroon's presidential runner-up, Issa Shiroma Bakari, has given authorities a 48-hour ultimatum to release all prisoners arrested in the protests that followed the re-election of Paul Biya. In a video posted on social media, Shiroma accused the government of state gangsterism and state terrorism. He also asked authorities to stop practices that he said include ethnic purges. Chiroma came second in the presidential election with 35.9% of the votes, finishing behind Paul Biya, who scored 53.66%. On the foreign scene, a deal aimed at ending the U.S. government shutdown has passed the Senate, paving the way for the record-breaking impasse to be broken. Reports say, after a weekend of negotiations in Washington, a majority of Democrats joined with Republicans and voted in favor of an agreement. The vote is a procedural first step towards passing a compromise to fund the government since it ran out of money in October the 1st. So on the foreign scene, U.S. President Donald Trump's administration is ordering U.S. states to stop paying full food aid benefit to low-income American families, saying they are unauthorized. A memo from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which runs the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, said states can deliver just 35% of benefits after the Supreme Court allowed the administration to withhold some funding pending further legal hearings. Reports say more than 42 million Americans who rely on the food aid began receiving only partial benefit this month due to the ongoing U.S. government shutdown. Some states had been issuing full benefits after a federal judge last week ordered the Trump administration to fully fund the program. Still to come in the news. Super Eagles camp opens in Morocco with 10 early arrivals for World Cup playoffs. Stay tuned for details of this in just a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned. This is Spectrum News. On our business news, Nigeria's gross profit from crude and gas sales fell by 43%, accounting for only about 8% of total oil and gas revenue, despite a rebound in oil production. This is according to figures from the latest budget implementation report for the fourth quarter of 2024 released by the Budget Office of the Federation. Oil revenue fell by 824.66 billion naira to 1.8 trillion naira during the year, from 1.90 trillion naira in 2023, representing a 43.32% decline in the year under review. The decrease in revenue highlighted drift towards taxes and royalties as the dominant contributors. In health, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have arrested a wanted drug baron, Yusuf Aziz, at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos. The 40-year-old suspect was intercepted on Thursday, November 6, 2025, while attempting to board a flight to Saudi Arabia for Umrah. A statement released yesterday by the NDLEA Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, said Aziz had previously been arrested and charged with drug offenses in the United Kingdom, but jumped bail and fled to Nigeria. The NDLEA also said its operatives, working with officers of the Nigerian Customs Service and other security agencies, intercepted 105.5 kilograms of Molly, a designer drug, and 500 grams of methamphetamine during an examination of a shipment at the CFAX bonded terminal, Okota, Lagos, on Friday. Still in health, the president of Nigerian Association of Hydrogeologists, Martins Eduve, has advised government at all levels to implement a comprehensive reform strategy that integrates private sector and engagement and stakeholders' participation for improved water service delivery across the country. He gave this advice during a 36th annual conference of the association. Eduve explained that indigenous knowledge, local water associations, transparency in decision-making and community capacity building are critical for sustainable water governance in Nigeria. The president further admonished the government to strengthen political will through consistent policy implementation, transparent regulatory frameworks, credible partnership structures, and adoption of smart technologies to attract and sustain private sector investment. Let's move now to sports, where the Super Eagles camp has officially opened in Rabat, Morocco, with the arrival of 10 players as Nigeria begins final preparations for their crucial 2026 FIFA World Cup CAF playoffs. The first batch of players and team officials arrived at Rabat yesterday, signaling the start of what could be a decisive week in Nigeria's campaign to return to the world's biggest football stage. The team's media officer, Promise Efungang, told the newsman that early arrivals included the Troy of Calvin Bassi, Alex Iwobi, and Samuel Chukwueze, as well as Tolu Arokodare and Olakunle Olusegun. Still in sport, Manchester City celebrated Pep Guardiola's 1,000th game in management with a statement 3-0 win over Liverpool to close to within 4 points of Premier League leaders Arsenal. Erling Haaland shorted of missing an early penalty to head in his 99th Premier League goal before Nico Gonzalez's deflected effort and a wonder strike from Jeremy Doku confirmed City's status as Arsenal's major title rivals. Liverpool have now lost 4 of their last 5 league games to leave the defending champions down in 8th position and 8 points off the title. On entertainment news, Nawat Ishiragwilsil, the executive director of Miss Universe organization, has been dismissed from the 2025 pageant after humiliating Miss Mexico. Reports say the Thai businessman, during the pre-pageant ceremony in Thailand, called Miss Mexico Fatima Bush dumb for not posting promotional content on a social media platform. Reacting to him, Bush, who described Nawat's actions as disrespectful and undermining, walked out with some contestants from other countries in a show of solidarity with her. However, responding to the incident, the president of Miss Universe, Raul Rocha, in an Instagram video announced that Nawat has been sanctioned and dismissed from this year's pageant. Last in the news at this hour, Delta North Senator Ned Nwoko has said that his actress wife, Regina Daniels, must go for rehabilitation to tackle drug abuse and safeguard her well-being. These words as the lawmaker said he wants her alive and healthy to raise their children. Nwoko said this in an interview with newsmen, stressing that the decision was necessary for the 25-year-old actress to be in the right state of mind to raise their 2 children. According to the lawmaker, his stance followed a series of alarming toxicology reports indicating high levels of harmful substances in Regina Daniels' system. And that's all we have for you at this time. To ensure to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 10. I am Emedion James. Enjoy the rest of your day and thank you for watching.